Chapter 1081 The Secret Under the Qinling Mountains. Zhang Yi was immediately interested when Deng Yuanbo mentioned the Qinling Mountains. He hurriedly asked Deng Yuanbo for advice. Deng Yuanbo did not hide anything. He wanted to get closer to Zhang Yi, so he naturally told him everything he knew. There are very scary things under the Qinling Mountains. In order to obtain the source of God, Shengjing District dispatched almost all its forces, including the top aliens and tens of thousands of Longming guards. It took them 3 months to get the source of God from under the Qinling Mountains. It is said that they also suffered extremely heavy casualties at that time, and until now, it is still a restricted area, heavily guarded, and even Shengjing District has more than a dozen love-death gods aimed at it. Zhang Yi frowned deeply when he heard this. He thought of the mysterious existence that appeared in the fog valley of Qingdao. His powerful strength makes people feel deeply afraid. At that time, Zhang Yi, Xuanwu, and Cartiers were as powerless as babies under his hands. Xuanwu was directly overturned, and the joint forces led by Columbia were also half destroyed. If it weren't for the black-armored weirdo who refused to leave the fog valley, it would have been difficult for everyone present at the time, except Zhang Yi, to escape. Zhang Yi frowned and looked at Deng Yuanbo. What on earth exists under the Qinling Mountains? Deng Yuanbo shook his head helplessly. This involves core secrets, and even my information channels cannot know it. Shengjing Commander Qin Qigong personally issued a gag order. All those who participated in the operation at the time must not reveal a single word. Zhang Yi felt that the Qinling Mountains and the Fog Valley Abyss must have something in common. The source of God that suddenly appeared at the time must have its reason for appearing in the world. If the Qinling Mountains are really that dangerous, why not just seal it up? Under the power of the god of death of love, I don't believe that any carbon-based creatures in this world can survive, Zhang Yi said lightly. Even though he has now reached the realm of Ypsilon, he still holds the greatest awe for the strongest weapon in the world. Even he couldn't stop the large-scale love-death god that could destroy a large city with one blow, and he could only run away. Deng Yuanbo showed a mysterious smile on his smooth face. Since you don't want to destroy it, it's because it's very beneficial to keep it. It is said that the reason why Shengjing District can firmly suppress the other 5 districts in the alien field after the end of the world has a lot to do with the secrets under the Qinling Mountains. Zhang Yi's head was a little confused. He felt that as his strength became stronger and stronger, the higher the level he came into contact with, the more terrible things he began to come into contact with. God knows, he just wants to be a comfortable rich man who can live in the shelter of Tianhai City without worries and have a few beauties to accompany him, and he will be satisfied in this life. But the wheel of history rolls by, and no one can be spared. Now it seems that he has no better way except to move forward and overcome all difficulties. After all, now that he has entered the game, he can't keep a low profile even if he wants to. Zhang Yi talked with Deng Yuanbo and Deng Shintong again. The two naturally tried to win over Zhang Yi during their conversation. Zhang Yi exchanged a few polite words with them. He did not refuse, but he did not accept it openly either. More friends mean more paths. He would not put all his eggs in one basket. Maintaining a certain relationship with the Deng family would also give Zhu Zheng a sense of crisis. Only by playing both sides can the interests be maximized. During this period, Zhang Yi also asked Deng Yuanbo about the genetic technology of the aliens and the latest weapons technology. In the field of technology, Deng's technology has always been the best in Jiangnan. Deng Yuanbo is naturally very familiar with this. He explained to Zhang Yi, with the emergence of a large number of aliens, we have also obtained a huge experimental sample to study how to quickly improve the strength of aliens. Let's put it this way. There is a huge boundary between aliens of each level. That is at the genetic level. We are not able to change it now. Maybe we can only have a chance with the help of special substances like the source of God. However, our technical means to increase the strength of aliens of a certain level are constantly improving. But alien energy and alien ability are not the same thing. Only those who are talented are worth cultivating. Zhang Yi nodded. What Deng Yuanbo said made a lot of sense. It's like if you give Bailey Chongqing's ability to Fatty Su, then Fatty Su's comprehensive evaluation of the ability index may not reach 7,000. The reason is simple. If you put the ability of the melee system on a coward, he will definitely not be able to develop his ability to the maximum extent. Alien energy is water, and aliens are jars. The jar must be large enough and tough enough to hold more water.
When
Deng Yuanbo talked about this, he suddenly looked at Zhang Yi, and his eyes became hot. Zhang Yi, didn't you get the source of God? I wonder if you still have its fragments. If you do, I hope you can give me a little bit. I want to study it.
See what it is.
Zhang Yi smiled bitterly and shook his head. Uncle Deng, do you think I will keep that thing? I used it all when I got it. Deng Yuanbo's face showed a trace of regret. Well, that's true. After all, no one can resist this kind of temptation. Who can? There will be some left over. Zhang Yi felt that the time was almost up, so he stood up and said goodbye. Zhang Yi, wait a moment. I have prepared a small gift for you. It's not a courtesy. I hope you will accept it. Deng Yuanbo asked the butler Lianqing to bring the things over. Lianqing brought a heavy box and handed it to Zhang Yi.
What is this?
Zhang Yi asked curiously. Deng Yuanbo smiled and said, Open it and have a look. Zhang Yi was secretly cautious and first locked it with the ability of tracking all things. As a result, after such an investigation, he found that there were about 1,000 bullets and a blue chip inside. Bullets? Chips? Zhang Yi was puzzled, but he still opened the box. The bullets were all silver gray, and the surface reflected a mysterious luster. The composition of the material made people feel familiar. Zhang Yi reached out and picked up one, and then he found out what this thing was. Adamantium alloys. This metal is very expensive and even rarer after the end of the world. Only the investigation team and Yanyanwei officers can apply to use it to make weapons. And now, the Deng family is so extravagant that they use it to make bullets? Deng Shintong came over, picked up a bullet, and explained to Zhang Yi. These bullets are prepared for you, and others are not qualified to use them. With your current strength, ordinary bullets can no longer withstand your strength. But adamantium is different. Its toughness is the highest among all known substances. Chapter 1082 Master, I understand. Zhang Yi was very satisfied with this gift. Now he really needed to upgrade his weapons. These bullets were priceless, but they were just right for him. Deng Shintong continued to explain some of the principles of bullets. For example, in order to facilitate detachment, the materials of the bullet head and the shell were different, and the gunpowder used was also specially made. It couldn't even be considered gunpowder, but a special propellant. Deng Shintong picked up a bullet and activated his superpowers, and a soft, white light poured into the bullet. Ordinary bullets are propelled by gunpowder, while this special bullet uses a material that can absorb superpowers. In other words, when you use this bullet, how powerful the bullet is depends on the strength of your superpowers. Zhang Yi was pleasantly surprised. Isn't this kind of bullet exactly what he needs? Deng Shintong then pointed to the blue chip. The synthesis method of adamantium alloy and the method of making the special bullet have been put into this chip. With your ability, I believe you will be able to produce it yourself in the future. Zhang Yi was very happy. The gift he got from the Deng family was no less than the supplies Zhu Jing gave him. Isn't this gift a little too expensive? Zhang Yi said with a smile. Deng Yuanbo and Deng Shintong also smiled. Being able to gain the friendship of an Epsilon-level alien, this gift is completely worth it. This is a favor. If one day in the future, the Deng family needs Zhang Yi's help, Zhang Yi will also help out for the favors accumulated over time. The Deng family is a business family and knows how to invest in valuable people. Zhang Yi thought about it and suddenly said, this kind of weapon technology, the top management also has it, right? Zhu Zheng promised him that he would also give him a copy of this technical means. Deng Yuanbo pondered for a moment and said bluntly, they still have some similar technologies. The means they use is a very advanced but more restricted means. It is called energy storage laser weapon technology. Compared to physical bullets, its method is to charge and then launch high-energy particle beams. It's hard to say which of the two methods is better or worse. The key is to look at the scene of use. Zhang Yi suddenly understood. For example, the magic-destroying substance of the origin bullet can be attached to the bullet. But laser weapons save the trouble of loading bullets and may consume more energy, right? He had seen both methods on Billy the Kid. Deng Yuanbo nodded, indeed. Zhang Yi made up his mind that it would be best to add both systems to the gun at the same time. But the most useful one is, of course, the expensive adamantium bullet. Zhang Yi was not polite and took the things. He was about to leave, and when he went out, he saw several military vehicles parked outside. Bailey Chongqing's huge body leaned on the front of the car, holding an expensive huangyuan in his mouth. The other members of the Tengu team were also nearby, and it seemed that they were waiting for Zhang Yi to come out. Zhang Yi smiled. He originally planned to meet Bailey Chongqing and have a drink. Unexpectedly, the entire Tengu team came. When should I tell Lao Zhu that this damn team should be disbanded? Zhang Yi muttered. He doesn't like to manage people, and now, no matter how you look at it, the strength of these team members is really a bit of a drag. And if he needs technical talents, there is no shortage of anyone in his shelter.
Yo.
Zhang Yi walked out of the door and waved to them. A group of people immediately gathered around excitedly. Captains, captains. Their eyes were full of admiration, and they soon surrounded Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi's eyes swept over their faces and finally fell on Bailey Chongqing's honest old face. Are you all here? No need to train. Bailey Chongqing scratched the back of his head and smiled honestly. Captain, training doesn't matter on this day. But it's not easy to see you. You don't know how much everyone wants to see you. The long-haired beauty Meng Xiu took out the communicator from her pocket, opened the text, and handed it to Zhang Yi. Captain, can you help me sign it? My nephew likes you so much that he insisted that I ask you for a copy. Zhang Yi shook his head helplessly. You're doing this thing. You don't want to cheat me, right? Everyone laughed. Zhang Yi was joking, of course. Seeing Meng Xiu blushing, he extended his finger and signed the name, Chaos, for her. Well, the handwriting seemed a little ugly, but he hadn't touched a pen for more than 10 years, so there was nothing he could do about it. Now, the only thing he was good at was cursive writing. Captain, we have prepared a welcoming banquet for you. Let's have a couple of drinks together. Bailey Chongqing said to Zhang Yi with a sincere expression. Zhang Yi smiled faintly. It's okay to have a couple of drinks. But it may not be appropriate today. Zhu Shuai wanted to hold a celebration banquet for me, and I gave it to him. He refused. If I run over to have a drink with you guys, wouldn't that be a slap in his face? Everyone's expressions became a little regretful when they heard this. Today, Zhang Yi is the #1 master in the Jiangnan region and a hero in everyone's mind. His heroic deeds are reported in the daily reports of Blizzard City, and almost everyone can recite them by heart. The world's #1 hero, a leader of extraordinary wisdom, a pioneer of unity and friendship, a saint with iron will and lofty sentiments. He is the pride of our Jiangnan region, the patron saint of survivors in the end times, and the selfless and fearless investigation captain, Chaos. Zhang Yi's relationship with most of the Tengu team is actually just average. His relationship with Bailey Chongqing is slightly better. He is too lazy to spend energy on useless social interactions. When he was just an unknown little person, few people looked up to him. Now that he has succeeded and become a strong man respected by everyone, everyone is eager to come over and try their best to establish some relationship with him. No matter who it is, as long as they can get close to Zhang Yi, their future in Blizzard City will become better.
But who is Zhang Yi?
He will not be flattered by other people's compliments, nor will he waste time on insignificant people. So he walked out from the crowd and said to Bailey Chongqing, "Let's go, I want to talk to you alone." Everyone else had a disappointed look on their faces, but since Zhang Yi had spoken, they didn't have the courage to follow. Bailey Chongqing chuckled, got in the car, and left with Zhang Yi. The two went to the old place, the password bar. His return caused a sensation in the entire bar. The bar manager came to entertain Zhang Yi in person, but just when he was about to waive the bill for Zhang Yi threw out his points card. "I'll pay for all the consumption here today." Hearing this, the bar manager smiled knowingly, and soon the sound of the speakers resounded in all corners of the bar. All the consumption here today will be paid for by our beloved Captain Chaos. Zhang Yi thought about it, turned around and said to the manager, if it exceeds 10 million, tell them that the event has ended. The manager's smile froze on his face. For a long time, he looked at the box door that Zhang Yi closed and nodded seriously. As expected of Captain Chaos, such a cautious mentality is a prerequisite for becoming a strong man. Master, I understand. Dear viewer, thanks for staying tuned. Really appreciated. Please subscribe if you have not already for more videos.